All right, welcome back, everybody. I just wanted to do a video that's been on my mind for a little bit and talk about 10 heavy metal singers who I think were really vampires. In the 80s and 90s was a great pageantry for heavy metal singers, so I just wanted to do a top 10 and talk a little bit about why I think some of these singers were vampires. And let's get started here. There's a lot to talk about. But the first person who came to mind was Tom Kiefer. I just really felt like he really kind of embodied the heavy metal lifestyle, but also the vampire lifestyle. Um, he had the jewelry, the open shirts with the chest hair, the obtuse body language, and all that stuff. Just pretty much walked like a vampire, I guess, not an Egyptian, and was just very much I don't know if you'd had a chance to see the Nobody's Fool video, but the whole thing is a very drudgery kind of um, video where he's trying to seduce, and that's the first thing vampires do is they seduce and not destroy, but they seduce and seduce and destroy. That's from a Tom Cruise movie. Um, and Tom, he had it down. He was the man. I mean, as far as that goes. So anyway, number one is Tom Kiefer, and he may be forgotten. I got to see Cinderella and Lampy, almost front row seats, open up for David Lee Roth, and they rocked. I mean, they played longer than anybody, and they had a respect for the stage and a hard work attitude that I had not seen in a long time. Roth was amazing as well, but they had it down. I mean, they were pretty cool. Next up on the list is King Diamond. He kind of borrowed that whole thing, it seemed like, but the guy has been around for forever with that shtick. And a guitar player friend of mine brought over some CDs for him at one time, and I thought, wow, uh, he knows what he's doing. I mean, he's going to work hard, he's going to tour, and if you like that sort of thing, I'm just not really a fan, but if you like that sort of thing, King Diamond ranks up there as number two. And then you've got number three, Ronnie James Dio, which with the whole Holy Diver thing and just the open shirts again, more of the celestial kind of seasoning kind of approach, and the rings, the jewelry, except he combined it with spaceships. He really had kind of a galactic theme in the 80s. He had some really amazing videos and that sort of thing. So I think Ronnie James Dio it definitely qualifies. I'm sure there's some rings with some goats' heads and something in there. The satanic star, all that kind of combines into that kind of dark, kind of earthy kind of approach to music video. So really, he should probably rank higher than King Diamond. But I think the music is great and the guitar playing, all that stuff. It's all there. So number three is Ronnie James Dio. He's just really good. Sorry to hear that he passed away. Number four, of course, is old Marilyn Manson. I'm sure there's a hyperbaric chamber or something somewhere that he's sleeping in, or something that he's doing out there. But he, this is a whole gothic vampire-y kind of wild stage annex kind of thing. Never been able to see Marilyn Manson live. And I know he was kind of related with the Satanic Church. Maybe he's like a priest or minister or something like that. And I don't, the whole illusion of it is that it's all for show or something, like that. But that was like his thing. I've read a couple of his books where he just talks about all his everything that he does. Number 6 is Gene Simmons, and I think a lot has been borrowed from Gene Simmons with some of the ideas and things that he came up with. I think he's definitely an inventor, maybe a borrower like a lot of people, but you can't not dismiss his contribution to the whole rock vampire movement. A very creative guy, would use any tool or tactic or anything that he needed. The blood right there qualifies him as a heavy metal vampire, basically, because the blood shooting out of his eyes and his mouth when he would break those capsules. Vampires love blood. So Gene is no stranger to that, and so that's why he made number 5 on our list. And of course, the list wouldn't be complete without Alice Cooper. I mean, he got the whole macabre thing to the T, and just blood and guts and a great stage show, and it was all there. So I definitely think that Alice Cooper makes the list and did a lot to further kind of the heavy metal vampire movement. None of these guys I know of sleep in coffins, so that's their one detractor from, the whole vampire thing. But our next guy that's up from our number 7, Glenn Danzig, he's a kind of one of those guys as well that kind of runs, I guess, in those circles. I think he's a great singer. I think he commands the stage very well, and he likes the macabre, obviously, and has had a great success. I think he's been around since like the 80s or something, early 90s. I mean, it just kind of rose to fame. I remember seeing some of his songs in Guitar for the Practice Musician. That's a sure dated magazine. They're out of business now, so. But Glenn Danzig's definitely has to make the list as kind of a vampire. Likes all the dark gothic jewelry and everything that makes a great heavy metal vampire singer great. Not too much overuse on the jewelry or the abrupt body language, but he can sure do it. I mean, and again, a great singer, commands the stage very well. John 5 was kind of an honorable mention kind of guy. I think he sings and does his own albums and all that stuff. Very fantastic. Number 9, Typo Negative, which is a great band to go see. I think the whole band is vampires. I saw them. They opened for Pantera one time. I just had to leave the show. I just couldn't handle it. I mean, the sound was great and everything, but it was just so dark and foreboding and gothic. I just didn't label, but I just said, that's a whole band of vampires. So if you know of a band that you think is definitely a vampire band or uses the whole vampire concept, and number 10 is Phil of Pantera, which he really likes kind of the horror, macabre kind of stuff. He doesn't really capitalize on it stage-wise. I know Pantera had kind of some dark songs, and I'd seen him live many times, but a great lead singer. No jewelry, no open shirts, just no shirt. So he's a great vampire. So thanks for listening to my video, and like and comment and subscribe, and leave a note in the comments about your favorite vampire band. Thanks for listening. Bye.